Come on, you nerds. Let's get...
Rick's got some Fortnite branded headphones.
And welcome to another episode of the Three Speech Pod. I'm joined today by Mr. Jussie P and the coolest Call of Duty player I've ever seen. You look really cool. It's Rick Molland, ladies and gentlemen, back from the back from parts unknown. Rick, obviously our resident liberal cuck. Jussie P, our resident flat earther, and me, the mad lad of Jihad, coming back to you. Man, we haven't done a pod for a while, so thanks you guys for joining me. I'm coming from parts unknown. But since we last spoke, actually since I last spoke to either of you two on the pod, so much has been happening. I don't know about you, but I'm excited for November 5th for the US elections.
Oh, bonfire night. Oh.
Actually, yeah, for bonfire night. I think Donald Trump is gonna. My prediction: Donald Trump will win in a landslide victory. He's gonna dominate and
be
crush.
Robbed.
Well, okay. Well, let's get into that. I think either two things happens. Either Donald Trump wins in a landslide victory, and you're gonna see the left riot and stuff, or he will be robbed and you'll see an actual civil war. That's what I predict.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think it's going to be a landslide. I just, it's one of those things that it's the American election's strange in the fact that it comes down to so, like the margins in the American election are going to be like insanely close. So, like, so much of that is because it's all about, because the way they operate is about predictions and stuff like that. You know, you're going to see the predictions in after the exit polls. Most of the states will be that, and then it'll come down to, it'll be like 51-49.
Well, the betting markets, which actually are usually a better indicator than any of these polls that they do, are saying that Trump's like 12 points ahead, 60-42, and Kamala's just collapsed, basically with her white guys for Harris and stuff, because she's just hopeless.
The only way it could be close, I think, is if there is an underhand, nefarious rubber banding like Mario Kart.
As if she uses the blue shell.
There's rubber banding that must go on. Because the thing about when Biden got in is he went from the landslidest of landslides to being the least popular president in a month. And I'm like, that's weird. Did all those people really change their mind, or can they not fucking count?
Man, you know what was funny? It was the day after, because they did like they did a pre. You know what when you can watch the real thing is, if you just look at like when they put their rallies or whatever on YouTube, you can actually get an actual general feel for how popular something actually is within the nation. And when the Biden did his, it had like 4,000 people watching his like inauguration or something. Just literally as soon as he won. And like the day before, Trump had done like some sort of, before the election, had done a speech of like over 1 million people. Biden had 4,000 after being the most popular president in US history.
It's not as bad as Bush. He had to sneak in the back door, didn't he? He didn't have one.
What happened with Bush?
Say Junior, that it was because what happens is, I don't know, something happens where like Fox News announced he won, and it was like, have you not seen that? What's his name?
Al Gore conceded, right?
Yeah.
Well, no. What's that bloke? The documentary guy, Fahrenheit 9/11.
Michael Moore.
Michael Moore did one, and he said that just Fox went, oh yeah, and they went, oh all right, Fox say he is, and it's what the news channel sort of called it before they. Well,
it's what happens in the American elections is they don't base. Whereas in a British election, we count everything. In American election, it's sort of based on it's based on predictions.
Projection.
So
yeah.
It's projections. So basically, essentially, they will say they base it on this. They take a percentage and then they project it forward, and like it's that thing of, it's the idea of big data, that once you get so much data in, you can.
So
then make
basically,
predictions.
the American elections could be done with the family fortunes, 100 people, and just extrapolate.
Do you know what? You're probably not far off the. You're probably not far off the idea. They base it on their exit polls more than we do. Whereas we count the votes, they will take their exit polls and get that data in, and then say this is what it's looking like. And once what happened with that with the Bush one is
Was it Florida or came out to Florida or something?
no, there was Florida was a slightly different thing. That came down to that was the hanging chads argument, wasn't it? Where they were basically still on paper. They were still on paper ballot.
Yeah, they were saying they were spoilt ballots when they.
No. It's not spoiled. It was basically paper ballots, and a hanging chad was when you pull the lever, you put a hole in the paper, but all the paper hasn't, even though you can say where it is, hasn't fallen through.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They were classing that as a spoiled paper rather than
so basically that's the whole, and then bits where it extends.
It's such a hypocrisy that Americans are like, I'm annoyed Leo's not on here to defend Western liberal democracy with this banana republic type shit. Like, we don't know that's thing. That's convenient that the guy who we wanted to win wins because of that.
Do you know, like, I've seen things in America where they're like, when you register to vote, you register who you vote for, unless you're like a you have to say like, I'm a Republican vote, or we just register to vote. Well, I haven't.
I haven't.
But have you?
No, obviously not.
It's just too much effort, isn't it?
Yeah.
But when they go like you have to say you have to affiliate yourself with one of the Oh fucking hell, Darius! No, just leave it. What have you done that for?
So that because I'm vision mixing in real time.
Oh, for fuck's
Look
sake,
at that! Look at that! Smooth.
Yeah, well done. But you have to sort of say either you're an independent voter or Republican or a Democrat. I find that fucked up. They could go look at because then if like say, as Rick believes, that when Trump gets in, he's going to become a dictator and start exterminating people, he's going to be able to look at who Democrats voters are and go get them. That's not good, is it, Rick?
I don't think he's going to go after the voters. I think he's going to go after the actual Democrats. I think the voters are fine.
Democrats would never resort to lawfare.
Do you actually think? Do you actually believe that, Rick?
No.
What? So what? But
I'm on this podcast. Don't we all say shit we don't really believe? Isn't that the whole point of this podcast?
Anything
I say, I firmly believe.
All opinions expressed are fleeting.
We have conversations off camera, Darius, and you
listen. Apparently, Kamala Harris. I can't find my one. I've broken it now.
Just put on all three.
All right, let's go back on all three. Here we go.
Yeah,
apparently.
Apparently, I'm on a different position.
This is like the fucking Find the Lady. I feel like I'm on a New York size tree. He keeps shuffling it around. I can't find who's where.
Wait. Oh, wait, that's broke.
All right, I'm gonna guess the Queen is in the middle.
Yeah. Not now.
All right. Wait. How do I get back to the positions that we were at?
People were good at this stuff, Darius.
No, I haven't used this for ages, have I? Obviously, I've broken it now. Right, I know what to do. Minus Rick. Wait, minus. Fuck off, Rick. Okay, I'm not gonna press the button again. I won't press it again. Fuck it, we'll leave it at that. It's not ideal, but if you're listening, you can't see what. Yeah, it was good. Then I don't know. I pressed the buttons. It worked for a little bit. You can see it was switching, and then it just goes mad. Ecamm is so shit. I'm glad I don't pay for it.
Yeah. So Rick thinks Hitler's gonna open. What did you say? Concentration camps.
Well, I mean, I think you find Hitler did open concentration camps.
Did I say Hitler?
If you want to done, I mean that just shows.
I didn't. I said Trump.
No, you said Hitler.
You said Hitler. Which shows that
But you
It
meant
shows
Trump.
genuine.
Oh, you believe all that, do you? All right. Fucking
But
hell,
I think
that's how much of a shill he is.
I think
He thinks Hitler was the bad guy. Oh, you
Yeah.
believe that narrative?
But actually, you know how bad it is, right?
I do feel like I'm on a podcast in 1938.
Hold on. This is how bad. But wait, Rick, you as a resident liberal cock, you need
Yeah.
to take some responsibility for this.
Why do I need to take? I don't need to take responsibility for anything.
Because your side, which is the left, who likes to watch their wives get banged by other men, what you've done is you've been so extreme. I'm saying your side, like the left have been so extreme that people are now so annoyed. They're looking at Hitler and going, "Oh, maybe Hitler's got something about him, like something that was like universally agreed upon, like, oh, this guy's a cunt." Now everyone's like, let me go back, and now if you go online, people are like, actually, Hitler wasn't so bad. This is genuinely happening.
What is it you think Hitler's got about him, Darius?
Not me. I'm saying
What is it you like? What is it?
Good moustache. He's got a good moustache. He's got a good moustache. Good hair.
Hugo Boss uniforms.
The
Stormtrooper emblem was a banger. Skull and crossbones.
Actually, that's pretty fucking cool. You got to think that, you know what? We're just gonna go for it. We're actually gonna put make sure everyone.
You know what? But that is why people could be suspect. It's like in history, nothing's ever that black and white that they owned being the baddies, and you sort of go, that's weird that this sort of like modern European nation were just like, yeah, fuck it, we're going to be the Death Star. And normally there's always like a bit of nuance, but there isn't there. So I think it's a little bit too. It's like when someone's too much of a heel.
Yeah, healing it up too much. Anyway, the point is, but I do think that people from both sides of the spectrum, they're pushing it. That people they're going back. That what's basically happened is no one trusts anything the media says now. That's the truth of it. You can't trust a word they say. Hold on, you can't trust a word they say. So now people who like they fucked it with COVID, like as we know about certain things, they make now everyone's questioning everything they've ever read, and they're going back and they're looking at stuff. And now people are saying, wait a minute, for example, if it comes to Hitler, how is it you're allowed to historically in Europe, you know, look over any history artifact or any event in history, investigate it, question it, you go back and do an investigation into the ancient pharaohs and say, oh, I don't believe the pharaohs existed, and no one will care.
No,
but you can't. But you can't do that with the Nazis, because they'll be like, "Oh, that's like why? Why is it like that's weird? Is that not weird? Like just objectively, you can investigate absolutely anything in history, but the one event
you
you're
can't.
not. What do you mean?
Well, yeah, like to a lesser extent. I mean, but like you look at Graham Hancock. I mean, he's the famous guy what questions the timeline of stuff, and he is completely discredited, and they tried to destroy him.
Who's Graham Hancock? I don't know.
Yeah, right. He's got an alternative timeline. He thinks the pyramids are older than they were, and he wrote this book in the 90s called Fingerprints of the Gods, where he looks back at this. He thinks there's a lost ancient civilization, like an Atlantis, or even bigger than But like anything that question, did it happen with me? This is the thing. When it happens with when it happened in the medical world, pharmaceutical company, medicine, that's when I started going, oh fuck me. I thought people think, and I used to think, and I think people used to think, and people still do, that doctors are like these. They teach you loads of stuff about medicine, and then you're like this free doctor that goes like, oh, I think this, but you're not. You're just part of the machine. Like you dish out thalidomide, like you dished out the vaccine, and you think, oh,
fuck's sake, trying not to mention that. That's another strike.
I get, but it's like you sort of look at it and go, well, doctors aren't independent medical experts. They're like
cogs.
They're cogs in the machine. They're the front end.
Hold on, back to Graham Hancock.
All right, but let me just
before I no, let Rick speak.
No. At that point, okay, once you apply that to doctors, right? You got to apply that to the entire fucking workforce. Like everybody is. Everybody.
But they work for a company, don't they, Rick? So if someone gave you, if you said I'm cold in my house, right, and you went to Eon, they'd say put your heating on. If you went to a window company, they'd say you need new double glazing. If you went to a builder, it'd say you need me to put insulation in your loft. All those things are true, and they will make you feel warmer, but they are just feathering the own nest of the industry they work in. Once you understand that doctors aren't independent good people. They might not saying all doctors are bad, but they work for a fucking company. They work for the NHS as a company, and they will say, yeah, like now. But obesity causes loads and loads of problems. I think this is irrefutable, right? So what the NHS saying? Oh, we're going to give everyone Ozempic.
Mandated by
to get back to work. That is just them saying you have to have our product.
Okay, but for the most part, when the NHS, they aren't like prescriptions free.
Yeah, but mandated. They're going to make
to us. Hang on. What do you mean free?
Like,
do you think the drug companies give their drugs away for free? Our tax money pays.
No. I never said that. But I'm saying when you're putting it in terms of the man, right? Yeah. Into that thing, there are with regards to Ozempic, there are probably cases where it's suggested, mandated. No one can be mandated it.
Wait, what are we talking about? They mandated vaccines.
Yeah, they did. They tried to.
And they're saying, and the Labour government.
I mean, there's probably a better argument for fat people not flying than at that point.
So Rick, so the doctors say, or the government say, this is where the pharmaceutical companies got everyone in their pocket.
Whilst I'm not a conspiracy theorist, right?
That's not a conspiracy.
Yes, it is.
Here it is. Unemployed could get weight loss jabs to return to work.
The thing is, taxpayer money go to the pharmaceutical companies.
Is that not like for you two on the right? Is that not a good thing?
I'm not on the right. I'm not on the right.
You guys are clearly on the right.
No,
why is that on the right?
You were defending Hitler. You were defending Hitler.
Hold on.
He was a left-wing bloke, mate.
Yeah, he was a left wing. He's one of yours.
National Socialist.
Oh, so far.
Left wing. He's left wing.
I suspect that. I think that
Actually, but
far right, isn't it?
Hold on. Stop.
The
stop
socialist element of
let's bring this. Let's bring this back because we veered off topic, right?
Yeah.
First of all, no one was defending Hitler. What we were saying was that people don't believe everyone that people.
You wanted to check. You wanted to check.
Don't put words in my mouth, Rick. Yeah.
That's your job for me. That's your job for me, isn't it?
So let me just make my point, and then you can argue. My point wasn't I was defending Hitler. My point was people have such distrust in the media now. They're questioning everything. I then went on to say it's strange how you can literally investigate, question any narrative in history, and it's absolutely fine. Then Justin said, that's not true. Graham Hancock wrote this book and he was refuted and he was ridiculed. But the question I was going to say to you, Justin, regarding Graham Hancock was he ever arrested and put in prison for saying...
Of course not.
No. But David Irving, who is obviously the historian who questioned the Holocaust or whatever it might be, for questioning it and bringing up what alternate facts, he was in prison, was he not? I don't know. I'm not sure. But I'm just saying... People start thinking, well, how is it you can question this, and this, but you can't question that? Why can you? So I'm just saying, and the reason that has come about is because the media has lied so much about just simple things that are obvious to lie. Like Kamala Harris, and look, both sides do it. But for example, Kamala Harris will go, he's going to be a dictator on day one. That's the quote they always put to him. Then if you pan out for about 10 seconds, he goes, I'm going to be a dictator on like the car industry to make sure we keep the jobs in. But they've taken it down like as if I took a snippet of Rick going, I love Hitler. And then I look at that. When the actual quote is something like, I love Hitler being killed. But that's what they do. So everyone sees it and everyone they make us deny what we see with our eyes. So people are questioning that regarding that was my point.
So I was going to say, what I don't get with the whole... Obviously, I'm not defending Hitler. That's a bit, it was like fucking around. But people are questioning it. Like Tucker Carlson had a bloke on, didn't he? And people are questioning everything now. That's because people are starting to pick at the fabric of that hour.
I believe it's that the reason people like Tucker Carlson are doing it is because he's going after a market that's out there.
But there is a guy that think
Yeah.
no, but he had someone on that exists that thinks that, and I'm saying 20 years ago, I don't think those people would have had like haircuts like yours and been burning crosses.
But it's the podcast,
which ironically is what what the left do.
but it's the podcastification of news and things like that, where this idea that there's like no such thing as a fact anymore. Basically, truth and facts have gone. And
the mainstream created the post-truth world.
Oh, no. But it's what created the post-truth world, and even the idea of a post-truth world is like crazy. What created the post-truth world was people being locked down in their houses through COVID, feeling isolated, and then jumping on podcasts. This podcast in itself is part of the fucking problem. Do you know what I mean? In terms of it, do you know what I mean? It is.
Hang on. So what do you think post-truth? What do you see as post-truth? The post-truth era.
Well, it's a denial. It's genuinely a denial of things that are facts. I come from I have a scientific background, and
do you want to give me a fact then that you think's a nailed on fact?
Do I want to give you a fact?
Yeah,
that's
fact.
A nailed on fact. Do I want to give you a fact?
How many genders are there, science man?
Ooh.
How many genders? Oh, right. Well, okay. Let's go. Let's start. I'd rather talk about Hitler.
No, but I'm saying that's post-truth, isn't it?
No. Science. From it. Here's the thing with science. Science has always posited the difference between science and other things. Science will genuinely try and disprove itself to a point, and that's how science has changed. Right, nothing we're dealing with right now. Right, nothing we're dealing with right now from having the internet, from starting with fire, from all this kind of stuff that we kind of all that is science. Science has brought us where we are today. Right, and then there is a science will correct itself, and that's the difference between that and other elements. Yeah, it does. And then science will always be at the point at which it will do what it thinks is best in the time, and then will progress. But the idea of progression means that at some point you go, all right, well, I was wrong about that. But because it admits it's wrong, people jump on that and go, science is wrong. It didn't know anything.
Okay, so I would say that during COVID, the pandemic, people would say to me, if I said, I don't know about this, they'd go, well, you a doctor? And that's fair enough, I'm not, right? But then I'd go, well, Peter McCulloch is. And they'd be, oh, yeah, but he's been discredited. I'm like, why has he been discredited? Oh, he's been discredited for speaking out against elements, I won't say the word, elements of the pandemic treatment. So it's like, well, hang on. So this is the thing. Science, yes, as you're saying, science and religion's a good thing, but humans get involved and they pervert it. And science has been perverted by big business. Do you not concede that?
Right. So I think it depends on where you are with science. I think here's my genuine belief on the pharmaceutical industry. Okay, the pharmaceutical industry doesn't normally deal with, for the most part, doesn't deal with cures. Okay, so
of course not. There's no money in that.
Take diabetes. Okay, the solution to diabetes is to come off, stop sugar, basically move away from sugar, stop doing that, and in most cases diabetes can be cured. Right. Then the advice for years given by doctors was that you need to take a little bit of carbohydrate. So you're then keeping people, and what you end up with is a management system, right? So we end up with an insulin management system basically for diabetes, as opposed to looking for a cure. The advice for years on diabetes was that that there's no cure for it, right? So I believe that for the most part, loads of the pharmaceutical industry has that kind of element where look at the opioid crisis in America, things like that.
Can you go back to diabetes? So what you're saying is, I don't get your. I didn't sort of.
Are you saying? I think Rick, what Rick's saying is the pharmaceutical company doesn't want to cure it. They want to just give a treatment so they can sell it to
you. The doctors in America would promote the food pyramid, which is inverted, which is actually upside down. Terrible, causes diabetes.
So yes, so I think in terms of that, yes, I think there are.
But you're saying that science didn't know that then, and now they do. And I think they did know that then, and they were paid off.
Here's what I genuinely believe. I think there's a difference between I think we know. I think especially with food science, I think we know more and more. Like we know more and more. But I think an element when you get into you've got to would our cigarettes company science.
They
Does it
paid
all-
off scientists to do studies, didn't they?
Yeah. So, but are they? That's the thing. There's a difference between.
And doctors prescribed certain cigarettes
Yeah. I mean, that again. That's 50s advertising
under the branch of science, which you trust.
But this is what's. Hold on.
No. That's not under a branch of science. That's under the marketing idea of science. That's a completely different. Science.
Just listen. Hold on, Rick. Hold on. What you're saying is this. Yeah, we all agree. I think at its base level, yeah, science is true. Yeah, we all agree
I think your faith in science is blind to how science has been perverted
and manipulated. Basically,
your version of science is right.
You're blaming science.
No, we're not. We're not. He's not. He clearly.
As opposed to blaming the perversion of it is the problem.
No, but that's what he said. That's what we're both. Hold on, Rick. Hold on. Shush, Rick. Let someone else talk. You made your point. Rick, Justin and I are saying it's not we don't believe in science. Of course, we all take medicine, yeah? What we're saying is that science, for people with their own interests, i.e., if I mandate the vaccine or I mandate something and they have to take it, I'm going to make billions. Of course, I'm going to mandate that as opposed to say, don't eat. As opposed to say, for example, I never used to. I would never question anything. Like I was like, oh, they've got my best interest at heart, but they don't. They don't have your. But why? They've got your best interest. They've got your best interest at heart as a customer to pay them. That's why they.
Science best interest is their funding. Where's
their
funding
that's what I'm saying.
come from?
But that's what I'm saying. As a customer, but not just in science, not just in the movie, in everything. For example, any part of your daily life, if you look at it, it's not. They're not trying to help you out. They lie and say, for example, I'm right now being hounded by electricity companies. We want to install a smart meter. It's going to really revolutionize a smart meter. How's that going to help me? Their Octopus Energy. This is how nefarious they are, right? It's a new story this week in the UK, right? They're emailing customers, sending letters to customers saying your current electricity meter is out of date, as if it's a pint of milk, and we need to install a smart meter. And people are like, how can an electricity meter be out of date? It's got a best before date and it's going off. And because of this, people are questioning, people are questioning everything, not just the mainstream media. For example, right, I just completed a 35-hour dry fast. What does that mean? That means no food, no water, no liquids, no nothing for 35 hours, right? Actually, yeah, it is. I did it lose some fat, vanity, but also for the other effects of autophagy. But I'd done a water fast before, no problem. But I remember when I said, oh man, a 35-hour dry fast, no drinking, can't even brush your teeth, can't do nothing.
That must be dangerous.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be crazy. Man, I did 35 hours. I wasn't even thirsty at the end of it. I was still pissing at the end of it, right? They've lied to you about literally everything. Like, so people are questioning just everything they're saying. Anything they're doing is not for your good. It's for their own good. Like, why do they want me to put a smart meter in? Oh, you can check your thing. So they can cut my energy off, or they can put me on a different tariff, or they can charge it up and down. Like,
I actually have genuinely. I have a strange story about those smart meters.
Go on, then.
Years ago, before I was doing stand up, I kind of had that, that period in stand-up where you kind of quit a job and then you don't quite earn enough money and then you got to go back. The last job
out of it yet.
The last job I ever really had was working for Scottish Gas, and at the time I worked at Scottish Gas, they had just done this. They'd just done this project where basically they'd worked out that pretty much like 60% of the country had these old meters. Now, what you used to have to do with the old meters was, in order to, when the old meter would charge the rate it's like prepayment meters basically. So your old granny would go and get £5 worth of £5 worth of electricity, put it in the meter. It's fine. Now, what the problem you had is that the meter set the rate, but the price was already set. So basically, in order to set the price at the meter, what you would have to do is go in physically and change the meter. So there were meters all over the country there were meters all over the country that had like a ridiculously low rate it would charge for electricity, but the electricity prices had gone up. So debt was mounted on these meters. Essentially, they didn't tell anyone that there was debt on the meters because people just didn't believe there was debt on the meters because they'd been paying for it. Basically, Scottish Gas installed these new meters called key meters, which basically meant that the price was set on a key. When you charged your key up with electricity, that price would then translate to the meter. When I was at Scottish Gas, the amount of calls of people who just had this debt was then collected every 15 minutes. So basically, part of the debt was collected. So basically, the £5 that would last people a week previously was lasting people less than a day because of this debt collection, and they just didn't tell anyone about it. I've never dealt with more angry, depressed calls than that period of time in my entire life. It was insane.
So do you think they were in the wrong?
Yeah, totally in the wrong.
And why do you think their motivation was?
Money.
But that
And
also
you think that science isn't. Do you think that science doesn't hold its hand out and do the same thing for money?
No, I think again, right? Science.
But hold on. See those meters though. Those are pay-as-you-go meters. These are meters that are in your house, standard meters. And now look what they're saying here. Your electricity meter is past its best before date. Power firms claim old meters go off like veg. Come on, that's ridiculous. This is why no one trusts anything. It's the scare tactics. Exactly. Scare tactics.
This is what I feel is happening here, Rick. Listen, I feel like I'm trying to criticize the Catholic Church for some of their practices over the years, and you're defending God. And I'm saying, well, God is obviously science is like God. This thing of
but call it what it is. Then it's not science. It's companies. It's business. It's a different thing.
But they come to you. They come to you like a Catholic priest would come to you saying, "I'm passing on the word of God." The big pharma and that say, "Oh, this is all science." Fauci, if you disagree with me, you disagree with science. And then later on, he goes, "Oh yeah, we made up that 6 foot 2 meter thing. Oh yeah, we didn't know if masks works. Oh, we didn't even check if it stopped transmission."
Oh yeah, what do you have to say about that? That's true because this is the thing. This is the thing, Rick. This is what people are upset about. Is you say, "Oh, time changes and you can question it," but even at the time, people were saying, "Oh, the 6 feet thing, just bullshit," and you can't even question that. And now, 2 years down the line, went, "Oh yeah, we just made that up. It was bullshit."
Can I just say that point is the one I'd like to sort of get across? So, just as a Catholic priest would say, you can't question me. I'm doing all this in the name of God. Fauci did that. Just transposed God for science. He said, "If you question me, you question science." You use science. What you think science should be, not what it is. Science is an industry. And it's used as a battering ram for them to fucking force things on us.
Where I would say the difference is that those guys, Fauci and are at that point are mouthpieces for a government. So there is a.
But we were saying that people such as ourselves were saying that at the time.
It's not a. You know what? It's not a. I don't have a distrust of science. I have a distrust of government at that point because it's the government.
But when they say it's science, you then
but all right. You want to say they use science? Do you know what else they used? Words to get their point over, right? What? At that point, it's like they use science. They use words to tell you about it. Have a distrust.
One of the words they used the most was science.
Yeah, have a distrust. Have a distrust of all words at that point. You're you're taking apart the building blocks of the argument as opposed to having a distrust in the people that have the argument. Right, the people that have the argument is mandated from them. It's not that you're just checking on science at that point.
No. Yeah. Well,
Anyway,
you're saying this is the thing about post-truth. When
You're
science,
sorry, I'm sorry, mate. You're using words, and I don't believe you.
okay,
I don't even know what you guys are arguing about anymore.
I don't either.
I'm confused.
I'm not
Look,
arguing. I'm not
well,
arguing.
I'm unsure what you're discussing. I think what you're.
What I'm saying is, Rick's saying, and he's right, that science we'll start with post-truth. Science has been used as a it's been used as a sort of like war. It's been used to scare people off, like a scarecrow. Like, oh, you can't question this. This is science. Turns out that science was you. The word science has come to mean the truth. Like, irrespective of feelings, this is all facts. This is peer reviewed, and it used to be that, and it can be that. But it's just it's in someone's pocket, isn't it? So Fauci comes out and says, if you do this, what we say, a politician, he says, do what we say. If you question me, you question science. We go, oh, can't question science. But that's how they've used it. So they've created this sort of like thing you can't argue against, and now they're using it to peddle lies and myths.
My light's gone off just at that point. I think, well, obviously I agree. Anyway, let's take this back to the, where we started, and that is, I can't vote in the U.S. elections because I'm not an American citizen. But if I could,
can I ask you? Can you vote in the British elections?
I would never bother voting in the British elections. Absolute waste of time. Keir Starmer, useless. However, this is the one time I would be infused enough to get out and vote. I would actually vote for Trump. That's how enthusiastic I am for his campaign.
You're not allowed to because you're a person of color.
No, because I'm not an American citizen. That's why I'm not allowed to. He'd love my vote.
Are people of color not allowed to vote? I didn't know that.
No, it's not that. There is it's a whole it's an anti-registration drive. Depends on, because their system's crazy where like there's so much more politics at different levels in their country.
What do you think about them requiring voter ID
to
vote?
I don't. Well, again, it depends. Like,
I don't see why this is a controversial topic. I think.
No,
I mean, look, if you want to vote, bring your driving license. You are who you say you are. You can vote. I don't understand how is it Argentina during their elections got all the votes done in one day, right? But now counties and states in America, for example, Maricopa County or whatever it's called, are saying, "Oh, it's going to take us 13 days to count the vote."
Yeah.
Wow. Does that not alarm bells are ringing?
No,
this is why people say things are going to be. Wait, let me make my point, and then you can say this is why people already they're saying, but that's strange. How do you know it's going to take you 13 days to get the votes? Why has this got to be so difficult? It used to be you turned up, you write your vote on paper, done. Now people are coming out and they're saying, "Oh, I've seen," and this is swinging both ways, by the way. They're saying, "I put this candidate down and it came up with that candidate on the printed form. Check your ballots," right? Both ways. But why is it proven so? Why in the supposed seat of democracy or one of the bastions of democracies, the US, why are all these little bits and pieces coming up? Why is this an issue?
So my understanding with the American system is they don't there's no way, because of the way their states work, they all have completely different systems in place.
Yeah.
Like, so it's not the same. It's not the same here. There's like a regulation for our, the experience of voting in different places is a similar experience. You go in, you put your vote down, you go in. In America, there is each state has a different set of rules, different set of things because of the way the legislature works, basically. So I don't know, why is it going to be 13 days? I don't know.
But
yeah.
you agree that you think voter ID should have voter ID?
So look, again, if you look at America, all right, one of the differences, and I can only compare it to this country, I think one of the differences in America is the huge disparity between haves and have-nots. So I think that when it comes to the poor, the chances of them having things that is needed to register for certain voter ID. So in black communities,
That's so racist.
No, it's not racist.
It's racist.
It's not. No, it's not racist.
Black people are too poor to have
Everyone
a
in America
driving
should have an
license.
ID.
No. I'm saying like on stuff I've seen.
Hold
right,
on one second. Just to clarify, in America, everyone is given a social security card. Everyone,
an ID card
for free. You got
My
that.
mum's American.
They send you a social security ID card, and
Yeah.
everyone has that. Now maybe you'll lose that, but
you're not meant to leave the house without it, are you?
Yeah,
you're meant to have your ID on you at all times.
I've got that social. Even I've got one because I was in America. But
That's not a monetary thing.
So this is the thing. This is the argument, right? Which is used because the Republicans are saying we think everyone should have voter ID to be allowed to vote, and I don't think that is like an outrageous position to have. I think you should just bring some ID. You can vote.
You have to register
right?
here, don't you? You have to.
Yeah,
There are what my point was. What my point was is there are communities there that are
and you meant.
Mate, there are communities there that are discouraged from voting and registering to vote because the idea that is sold into them is that it's either that there's either too much work needed to do it or there's that. So basically, it's not a fair system. I think if you're gonna have it, if it's something that simple, if it is as simple as you just need your ID card. Like, hey, you'd need your national insurance number in order to vote. That then, and everyone's got it. That's fine. But it is not that case because because every state legislature has completely different systems, that the rules are not the same depending where you live in that country.
Here's a very simplistic question then. If you don't register to vote, could you not? If you don't have to register and prove who you are, could you not just vote loads of times?
No, because it's like here. Your name would not be on the.
No, it's not like here. You have to be registered to vote here, don't you? You have to be.
You have to be registered. Yeah. But if you're not registered to vote, you can't vote here.
Yeah, but you're saying they should there.
So say that again. Just ask that question again.
You have to be registered to vote here, so you can't vote multiple times. And you're saying in America you shouldn't be registered to vote, or you shouldn't need to be.
No, I think there's a difference between being registered to vote and the rules that are put in place. I genuinely think.
Basically, the whole point of voter ID.
There's a difference between voter ID and being registered to vote. There's a difference between those two things.
I'm not talking about register to vote. I'm talking about voter ID.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Here's the thing. The whole point of voter ID is so that someone can't vote multiple times, pretend they're someone else, or people who aren't allowed to vote can go and take up someone who is dead and is registered to vote and vote in their stead, which we know happened, right? So people are saying,
whoa, we know happens. The cases of that are so tiny.
Exactly. So what's the point? So it's no big deal to bring some ID and vote. Say I am who I say I am. Here's my ID.
The need for that.
That is just one example. And the thing is actually what's funny is there's a funny video of this. I'll find it in a second, of how racist like the left-leaning people actually are. Two videos of that come to mind. One is someone going, voter ID is racist because it stops black people. Then the guy goes to like Harlem and goes, do you have driving ID? Every single driving license, every single person he answers has a driving license. It's such thing about white people and the left and the so-called anti-racist. No. Let me finish my point. They're so inherently anti-racist. They're so inherently racist that even when they're being anti-racist, they're even more racist. Or black people are too stupid to bring voter ID with them. Well, no, they're not. Stop belittling a whole class of people. Voter ID is just a normal requirement that everyone agrees. Yeah, this is a good idea, so people can't pretend to be someone else and vote in someone else's stead. Because I could go. Here's what happens if you don't have voter ID and we're in America, right? Rick Molland's registered to vote, right? I know who you are. I'll turn up at the place, say I'm Rick Molland, get there before you, and I'll vote in your place, and I'll vote Trump. That's what could happen without voter ID. That's another example. that might happen. So voter ID is a minimal thing. Here's another thing. Some woman online, Democrats, that I've already voted. I went early voting. It's so funny. She was like, but you know what was so strange? And this is how racist she was. She goes, I registered to vote and I went to early voting. But you know what's strange? The early voting took place in a police station. I find that racist. It's like, what? Why is that Why is voting in a police station racist? The police station is a good place to go and vote, right? There's people there, they're sorted, it's part of a community. Like, what's racist about that? She goes, because black people, and then it's like, because you think all black people are criminals. That's what you associate black people with.
No. Here's what I associate black people with: having a
not
fear
you.
of
I'm talking about that woman.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But having a fear of the police. There is a thing about being black in America and the police that exists. So when if you're a black person in America, the general feeling is that you've got an armed.
Or could you say? Hold on. Could you say?
So you don't have to dissuade everybody.
People. But even that thought that you just said, say it again. Say black people have a fear of the police.
Oh, right, yeah, right. So again.
But do you not think it's criminals have a fear of the police?
No.
If a black person's going to vote in a police station and they've done nothing wrong, they've got no reason to fear. This is not me. I'll find the video of the black guy saying it.
I will say that, and then I think you are.
But that's what I'm saying about how inherently kind of racist the left.
Honestly, no. Again, right? It's like 3 times if you're sort of insinuating that I'm racist for this, mate.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, genuinely not.
Say Trump's the best then.
I think there is. I think it's pretty well known that the black experience in America and the relationship with the police is fucking horrendous. Do you know what I mean? People are afraid to drive cars. People are being pulled over just because they're black. That whole so when you then put, especially depends where you are within America as well. There's a difference between being in sort of Harlem in that area to these situations happening in red states further down south, right, which have Republican rules and things like that. And then if you then put it even further, and then you're asking them to go into a police station, right? You don't have to dissuade every single person. You just have to dissuade a percentage of people, and you're then swinging the vote. It's not about everything. You keep talking. It's not. Whenever I say this, it's not about stopping all people, all black people. But if you put enough fear into it, then you will.
So just to clarify, what do you think will happen? A black person goes to the police station to vote. Right, what are you insinuating would happen to them?
I'm not insinuating a thing.
You're saying the fear. You're saying there's a fear there. So I'm asking you.
No.
What is the fear? This hypothetical black person who's done nothing wrong, who's turning up in an orderly manner early to go and vote. What is the fear that hypothetical black person will have about going to that police station? In some random town, like picturesque town.
Oh, mate, I'll be right. So again, like that argument you just tried to put forward is genuinely there is a fear. There's a fear of being of black people dealing with the police in America. It just is. So when you put it into, it's like it's like standing. It's like I'm not even going to do an analogy because that is the I totally understand that argument of that being enough to put off some people. I just totally do.
Do you not think that? But do you not think a white woman verbalizing that is pretty racist?
No.
So
because what I'm looking at is I'm looking at it from a decision making point of view from
who? But do you not see how this is? But do you not see how this is racist? Because what you're saying is that
what I see somewhere in the do you know the case of I think it was the West Indies. Do you know the case of the West Indies dissuading black vote? This is how the voters are broken down. Right. This is how people are targeted. People are targeted.
In the West Indies.
Yeah. Do you know about this? Do you know what they
America.
Yes, I'm aware of that, mate. Like,
But when
yeah.
we said about registering to
No,
vote
no,
here,
no,
you're
no,
like, oh,
no,
that's
no,
not relevant.
no, no,
But
no,
now
no.
West Indies is relevant.
Right. So the West. This is what it is irrelevant to. What it's relevant to is again people who control elections. Okay.
So wait, hold on. Do you want to watch? Do you want to watch the video? Do you want to watch the video I'm referring to? Should we watch it?
Okay, fine.
I can't hear that.
You can't. Can you? Can you hear Rick?
I can read the captions.
I can read the captions. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, mate. I mean, again, I don't give any validation to a TikTok video. It's just bullshit.
I think if Kamala was way ahead in the polls, no one would even be having this conversation about reforming the voting. It's just because it's going the way people don't like.
It's just, but my point is, it seems inherently racist to say that black people are less likely to go early vote in a police station.
No, right.
Because the insinuation behind that, whether it's explicit or not, you also know there's a lot of police brutality, whatever. But the insinuation behind that is very crux. Is that black people are criminals or more likely to be seen as criminals by the police? They turn up and they get arrested, or they're scared to go there because they're criminal. That's what the insinuation that people are saying she's making.
That is not. I don't believe that is the case.
Well, I'm saying that's what other people. That's what black people are saying about that video.
Okay, right. I don't believe that. I'm not. I'm
not telling you.
Okay, right, I'm not saying it. I'm saying from that reason. Okay, when it comes to elections, when it comes to the manipulation of, and there's so much of this goes on, and why I was mentioning the West Indies is as an example of something that happened elsewhere, and then using that this again is a true case. Okay, in the West Indies, there was an election happening that the big data got involved with. Okay, I can't remember. I think what's the name of the company that swung the Brexit vote here? There was a whole lot of data bought, and I can't remember what
Cambridge Analytica.
Yeah, I think if I'm right, if I remember, I might not remember this fully right, but I think it was a Cambridge Analytica thing, I believe, and they analysed the election and identified two groups of people. Okay, and the West Indies has had two youth sections. It's got a black youth section, and it's got a Indian youth section. What they analysed in these two sections was that the black youth is likely to vote one way and the Asian youth is likely to vote another way, because the idea was that the Asian youth will vote in line with their conservative parents, and that the black youth will vote in a leftist way. What they did was develop a campaign, much like the Russell Brand campaign that was targeted at the black youth to show your revolutionary thing by not voting. So they were dissuading people from voting. Right. The data and the analytics for this whole for the way is way beyond just turning up saying these people should vote, these people shouldn't vote. Okay. What I'm saying is, at some point at a campaign level, right, there's a decision made. Okay. And I don't believe it's me being. I don't believe it's these people being racist. What you've got to do is identify that people are trying to control different parts of America. So, because everything comes down to such fine lines, if we can dissuade 20% of black voters from turning up in this election, we've got a better chance of winning this election. How do you do that? Well, at this point with the analytics they have, well, someone comes up with the idea, well, why if we put this election, if we have this in a police station, then we're more likely to do it. That's
and why would those? Okay.
That sounds like a conspiracy
wait,
theory.
hold on a second. No. Let's extrapolate from that. And why then would those 20% of black people
not saying
be afraid?
I'm not saying they will
in a police station.
I'm not saying
what was the suggestion behind that?
You're putting this on me.
I'm not putting anything. I'm asking you. What did I say? Wait, hold on, Rick. I literally asked you. I listened to everything you said, and the crux of your thing is, if you put it in a police station, 20% of black people might not vote. Is the thinking behind it, right?
Or it will contribute.
Or it will contribute to it.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, where does that thinking come from? Why
that thinking comes from black people having a bad relationship with the police in America.
But that's the whole point, that is inherently racist. It's not.
But I'm not. No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the thinking behind that positioning is racist because they are counting on that.
Do you think it's harder?
Yes, we're in agreement. That's exactly what we're saying. You're saying. So what you're saying is by putting it in the police station, black people are less likely to vote. Why? Because black people are criminals, so they'd be too scared to go to a police station.
No, I don't even think.
But that's inherently racist because if you've committed no crime and you're turning up to vote, no one cares.
No, you're saying black people are criminals, right? No, that's not. I don't believe it. I don't even think that. I think within America there's a massive difference between the white experience and the black experience.
Can we just go back to the original point then? So do you think it's harder for a black person to get ID than a white person in America?
I think it's harder for poor people.
Why?
It's not.
In what sense? Everyone gets issued a social security number, so they've already got that ID. What ID is harder?
Because I think it's genuinely what I think. I think that the life that they live encourages them not to do it.
So you are saying to me? Hold on.
They don't have. Hold on. What's the stat? We're all comedians. Have you never made the joke about? I assume you're when you see an American in a crowd. Mm-hmm. I assume you're a Democrat because you've got a passport.
But we're not talking about passport. No, what you're saying is
not talking about passport. It's still a form of government ID, and
but it's not good. It says voter ID.
It's a form of government ID though, right?
It's an ID card which all citizens should have.
Yes, but they won't have
because
again. Poor people in general, and again, you're looking at a very fucking middle class attitude towards what people getting information, having a fucking gas bill, all the stuff you'd need in order to register will to a certain level of that country will seem to be too much work, and there's a disconnect.
Just hold on. Just to clarify. Some of the voter IDs that can be accepted, and I'm reading this from USA. Well, fuck it, I'll just show you the thing. I'm reading this from usagov.voter ID, right? So some states do require voter ID. All you'd need is a current utility bill. Surely, unless you're homeless, you'll have a current utility bill or a bank statement or a paycheck, a government-issued document that shows your name and address. So why would people not have this kind of ID?
No. Here's the thing. So, are you telling me there's nobody in America who's eligible to vote who can't get access to that at all? 100%.
What?
I'm saying that's easy for you to get access.
No, you're saying it's easy to get access to, but there are people there who it's just beyond. It's like they just. Nothing exists on a scale of 100% to not. Like I think it depends on where you are in that country. Depends on that voter ID registration.
I think what it is, Rick, is looking at that list, and this is not. Look, I think that I'm not a tribalist, so I don't think, this is the left-wing position or the right-wing position. I'm looking at the facts, like the science that you were talking about at the start. If you wanted to vote in America, I don't think it doesn't look difficult.
to use voter ID. Anyway, listen, we're coming to the end of this podcast now because time is of the essence. Got to get this uploaded and out before 2. In summary, I think Trump's going to win. He should win, and he must win. And it's good to know that Rick agrees with me and is supporting Trump as well. If you could, would you be voting with your ID for Trump, Rick? Who would you vote for?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, Harris all the way, mate.
But what under what? Can you give me
Policy.
one policy that she does good that you agree with?
I mean, well, yeah. She's never raped her own wife.
Policy.
She's not. Well, no, I don't care about the policy. Just the fact that
So just to clarify,
just to clarify,
hold on. That's not true. I never heard that.
It is true.
But even you know what? Even if that was true, say that is true, I couldn't give a shit. I'd rather not be dragged into World War III and my family died because of your virtuosity. Would you rather, question, be dragged into World War III, live in poverty, than allegedly Donald Trump, which has not been proven true, otherwise he flipping wouldn't be president, be president? Would you rather that? You would be happy to be dragged into World War III. Do you think Kamala Harris is...
I genuinely don't accept the premise of the question. So,
What's the premise of the question? It's like Kamala Harris is dragging us into World War III. It's happening. You can see she's been useless. How?
Right, how is she dragged us into World War III?
Forget that. What is she doing going to do good?
Well, how do we know anything? You're asking me to predict the future.
Well, she's had 3.5 years. Why she's not done all these good stuff?
You know what? That's 3 times, Rick. You've said, they use words, so I don't believe anything you said. And they said, I can't predict the future. So you can't have an opinion on anything. If it doesn't go your way, mate, you just sort of spit
I
your
can
tongue
have an
out
opinion. No. There's a difference in having an opinion, or there's a difference in having an opinion and then saying ask me for facts that she's going to do.
So you shouldn't need a reason to vote for anyone, or what or what they're running on policy.
No, it's not what I said, man. That's not what I said. There's genuinely loads of reasons to not vote for Trump.
That's not what I asked. That's not what Darius asked. It's why vote for someone. This is the thing. American politics, they do hit pieces on each other. Both sides do that. It's getting like it here. I don't like that. It's create a bogeyman, isn't it? It's the power of
Actually, that's a good point.
Worse.
Forget Trump, because actually your whole argument, the whole thing about the Democrats, actually, this is the whole truth. Whenever you say, why should you vote for Democrats? The whole argument, we're not Trump. All right? Why should we vote? Forget that we're not Trump. Why should we vote for the Democrats? What is the argument for the actual positive arguments? Like, for example, I would say, why should I vote for Trump? I would say, he promises to reduce energy levels by half. These are his policy campaigns. He promises to secure the border. He promises to put Roe versus Wade back to the states. Those are 3 of his policy things, right? Now, that could be him or that could be any other Republican. Those are 3 policies, right? Why? And not say, because Trump is a Hitler or something. What are the 3 policies that someone should vote for Kamala Harris for?
Well, clearly I don't know her policies.
No one does. That's the point. It's not just you.
Okay.
No one knows.
Right. So, all right. Here's my prediction for it. With the election. Okay. My prediction is that Harris wins the election. I think we're going to get stuck in a position where nothing will happen because I don't think the Democrats will win the House. And I think you're going to end up in a situation where very little very little happens over that period of time, basically. So I think you end up in that position. Here's the problem. I believe that things with the state, with the Supreme Court being loaded with Republicans, when they win the House, that Trump then has a mandate to do much worse. So I do believe it is a case of Harris to stop America going.
Turns out you can predict the future. You lied.
I know. I said that's what I think. It's not a prediction. It's just what I think will happen.
Okay.
U.S. presidential betting odds. Donald Trump now 61% chance of being next U.S. president, ahead of Joe Rogan podcast appearance. That's insane. Gonna be exciting. Oh, also, just quickly before we go, Trump was on the Andrew Schultz podcast, and then they cancelled his show the day after. It's like, wow, they're still doing that. But look, we're gonna have to end it there. But on that note, do you guys have anything to promote? I know you do, Justin. You got the Intellectual Abattoir.
Yeah, the Intellectual Abattoir podcast, where ideas come to get slaughtered.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. That sounds fun.
It is good. Actually, you should go on there and argue with Justin on there. Rick, got anything to promote?
Nah.
No, okay. I'm coming to Australia in January with the Haters Ball. So if you're listening to this, just look out for tickets then. That's been another episode of the Three Peaks Podcast. Thanks for listening. Bye.